All right. So, hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Claudia and I are super excited to be hosting this chat tonight. It's our first Girls Gone Grateful chat, which I'm so excited for. And I'm thankful for each and one of you that are able to make it today. I know some of you wanted to be here, but you couldn't, but that's why we're recording this. And I'm just going to do a quick, brief introduction of myself, and then Claudia will take the reins. So as many of you know, my name is Jennifer Boltz, and I am the owner of Highly Motivated, Functionally Caffeinated. I have been personal training for over 12 years now. I also do nutritional counseling. And I moved down to the Florida Keys back in 2011. So I just hit my 10-year or 11th year anniversary of being in the Keys from Buffalo. Definitely happy to be down here where the weather is warm-ish. I still have my fleece on. So anybody in the cold weather, Amanda's probably rolling her eyes. She's in Colorado. Is going to be kind of jealous of where we're at right now. But I moved down here and I started working at a great place called Mariners Hospital at their wellness center. And that is where I met Claudia, who's going to be speaking to you tonight. To say I was excited to start training Claudia at the Mariners Wellness Center would be a complete and utter lie. I was not. I was very, very much opposed to training her, mainly because I saw her working out with other trainers for a few years. I'd be training on the floor, my own clients, and watch her training with another trainer that she had been training with for how many years, Claudia?
Geez. With Brittany was probably like 2, and Arlene was probably like 6, 7.
Okay,
8,
so I saw her training for about 4 years before I got her. So I've known Claudia now for about 9 years. So just shy of how long I've been down here. And it was the same thing on the floor, always complaining, always reading her People magazine, always coming in with a Diet Coke or talking about a Diet Coke, never wanting to sweat, coming in like a bull in a china shop, just
Yep.
talking shit about something and not wanting to work. And so I was always secretly so grateful that she wasn't my client, because that was not going to fly on my radar. And then she switched trainers to our friend Brittany, and then Brittany got pregnant on us and needed to leave to have her baby, and she needed someone to train Claudia. And I tried to hide. I tried so hard to duck every meeting that we had regarding Brittany's clients. I'd be like, I have to train someone. I got to go. I don't have room in my schedule. I was dodging her like a bullet. And lo and behold, I've been told that I'm the only one with her availability-ish. So I took a deep breath and I just said, all right, well, I'm going to train her the way I train everybody else. And if she stays with me, fine. If she can't hang, see you later. And so I went up to her. I'll never forget. She was on the elliptical. I don't even know if the speed was registering because of how slow she was going. Because you have to have a certain cadence for it to actually like turn on. I don't think it was actually on. I went up to her and we know each other, you know, like it's not like we're strangers introducing each other, but I told her, I'm like, all right, you're with me now. And I told her what times I had open, and she scoffed and said that won't work because she's not up yet that early. It was a 9 o'clock appointment. And that she also, I don't know how many times every other week or a weekly or monthly, would get her nails done during those days. Mm-hmm. I really just wanted to smack her. This is not the person that I want to be training. I want someone that's excited. I don't care if you are new to exercise. I just want someone that's ready to work. That's all I've ever asked of my clients, is that you want to be there to show up and work hard. Whatever hard looks like for you, I'm there to support you. I'm not there to wake you up, and I'm not there to be second to your nail appointment. So I told her, all right, well, it's not going to work, and skedaddled. And then finally she came back and was like, fine, I need to train because I need to fit into this dress. I need to fit into this dress by this day. And I need somebody because I'm not going to show up here doing it by myself. And I said, all right. So we got started. And the first few months was sticky. It was a lot of give and take on both of our parts. And I will, towards the end, show you guys some pictures that we've collected through the years. And I want everyone to put that in their memory, years of training together, what that looked like, and some of the things that have happened along the way since then. But to say that it was a easy start is an understatement. To say that it was one of the best things I've ever said yes to is a definite exclamation point underline. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear what Claudia has to tell you, her version of the story. Be nice, Claudia. And at the end, you can use the chat function. So there's a little icon at the bottom of your screen that says chat. So if you have questions and you're thinking of them as she's talking, go ahead and throw them in the chat. I would love everybody to put their name in the chat just to say a quick hi. So everyone can kind of get familiar with everybody. And then we'll answer questions at the end. All right. So I'm going to give this away to Claudia. Claudia, I love you. And thank you so much for being here and for doing this for all of us. It's a treat.
No, thank you. Thank you. This is absolutely my pleasure. And what you said is correct. It's years. This is, it will be 5 years actually in 2 days. It will be what I consider my 5th birthday. In that, this is when my transformation started. And if one of the things that I hope you guys take away from this is that it's a never-ending process. You're always a work in progress. It's never going to be, in my mind, the way I look at it is I'm never going to reach an end goal. And so it's what keeps, one of the things, and I'll go into it, but one of the things that keeps me motivated. So through this process, when I started and I was, 100 pounds overweight and wanting to fit into this dress, and that was my motivation. And I went through a week of changing the way I ate, but not too crazy, and being a little bit more serious about my workouts. And I realized that I started feeling a lot better with each day. And when I was done with the week, I fit into this dress better, that I needed to fit into. And my skin was feeling really good, or looking really good. And I was waking up she is absolutely right. I would have to set an alarm to be in training by 9 because it was close to impossible. And then I started realizing that by changing the way I ate, and how much I was moving, I was actually waking up earlier and with more energy. So my motivation then, after it went from fitting into the dress, my motivation was, and still, this is the overall motivation that I have other things that motivate me too, but through this whole process is just feeling good. When you eat healthy and you take care of your body responds, and you just feel so good that that really is what motivated me. In the beginning was like, okay, well, I'm sleeping better, I'm waking up earlier, there's more energy in my day. Let's keep this train going and see what happens. And then my motivation also added to, I'm going to get off medication, because at this point I think I had already lost like 30 pounds. And I started seeing the possibility of, okay, this is now improving my health. And the first medicine I shed was, I had terrible anxiety. Well, no shit, I had terrible anxiety. I ate like crap and I didn't do anything. So the doctor just gave me meds, and the meds worked. But now I realized, I thought, well, I think food and exercise is doing what my Lexapro was doing. So around the 4-month mark, I had lost maybe like 30 to 40 pounds at that point. I got off the Lexapro. And then I thought, well, shit, let's see if I can get off of some blood pressure medicine because I was on 2 blood pressure medicines. Again, never really thinking perhaps if I had just lost weight, I wouldn't need to be on these meds, but I was on these meds. So I continued. That was my motivation, was to get off these meds and get healthier. My at my heaviest, I had fatty liver. I was pre-diabetic, high blood pressure, and even with 2 meds, one being a beta blocker, um, they still couldn't get my blood pressure to be within acceptable range. It was crazy. I mean, I was a ticking time bomb, at the age of 44. So then I started realizing, okay, so I'm feeling better. I'm getting off meds. I think at some point then my motivation became vain. And then I started liking the way that I looked. I still had medicine. I still had a couple meds I wanted to, the last blood pressure one I wanted to get off of. Um, and I was still doing it to feel good, but now I was doing it to look good. And then the motivation changed to losing, hitting the 100-pound mark. And then once I hit the 100-pound mark, my motivation completely changed to just getting stronger and faster. Like, I want to be stronger. And so that's why I was saying it's a work in progress, because there really is no tangible goal for me other than I always want to be stronger and faster. And that's what keeps me going at it every day. So, a lot of people ask, oh, well, what's the secret? How did you do this? The first thing I think was the most important thing was that I made it part of my routine and I had my family's buy-in. It's the first thing I would do every morning. And still to this day, 5 years later, first thing I do every morning is I wake up and I work out. Nothing else gets done until that happens. And even Jen, I mean, bless her heart, when the girls had a field trip and I knew that I wouldn't be able to train unless it was 7 in the morning, she dragged her ass to Mariners at 7 in the morning to train me so I could get to the field trip, because I knew that it was important to me for both my sanity and my mental health. And I know that food in all of this is way more important than exercise, but exercise is what keeps all my plates spinning. And I'm aware of that. And I think, part of the reason for that success is I have figured out that that is the key, that it's not like I'm just going to lose 10 pounds, but how am I going to make this work for me in the sustainable, long-term route. Another thing I did, going back to making it sustainable, I made gradual changes. I mean, yes, you and I barely sweat in the beginning. And then as I started feeling more comfortable, I would figure, okay, I have an extra 30 minutes to kill before I go out into the real world. I'm going to stay on the elliptical for a little bit longer. I didn't go from 0 to 2-hour workouts. It was something that happened gradually. Same with my food. In the beginning, I was still drinking every day. And then as you and I started training harder and harder, I started realizing my food played more of a part in it. And it wasn't just, calories in, calories out, but I needed to stop drinking. So that then slowly the drinking tapered off. And now, I mean, yeah, I drink, but maybe once or twice a month, because it's just, quite honestly, for me, it's just not worth it. I mean, you feel like crap the next day and it interrupts everything. My food selections also evolved as well, as I figured out, we weren't all about the macros or even using my fitness pal. In the beginning, it was just basic calories, and then it just gradually came to what it is now. And even the Diet Coke, I mean, that she talks about, yes, I am addicted to Diet Coke. That took me 2.5 years to give up. So I didn't try to do this overnight. I think I would have failed. I mean, I know I would have failed, because that wouldn't be very sustainable. So I made the things, the gradual changes. Another thing that I would advise is I never let myself get hungry. One of the things I noticed was when I was hungry, I would make poor food choices. So my body works best. And I think some people believe in the fasting, other people do keto. Like, for me, my body works best eating small meals 6, 7 times, like every couple of hours. So what I would do is, in the beginning, even if I wasn't hungry, I would still try to nibble on something. So if hunger hit me quickly, I wouldn't be famished. I would also have snacks everywhere. In the beginning, there were nuts, I think, stashed in every single room in this house. And I had protein bars in my purse. I've gotten a lot better about that, but I still have noticed if I'm not planning ahead, then I can get into trouble with my eating. And then another thing was we would celebrate the small goals. Toward like every 10 pounds. I mean, towards the end, since we never really thought I was going to lose 100 pounds. I mean, I really just did this to fit into a stupid dress. And then everything else just took over. Towards the end, we would celebrate the 10 pounds, and then obviously the big milestone 100. I could not have done this, I don't think, if I didn't have the accountability partners of having a workout partner. I had Jen to make sure I was there. I had a workout partner to make it fun. And I've had two workout partners now, and one of them, I walked in being very far behind her and I caught up. So if you're looking for a workout partner, don't think you have to find someone exactly like you. My workout partner right now is a man who's 5 years younger than me and was a collegiate athlete. And he lifts way more than I do, but we still manage. The thing is, the motivation and the accountability is there. So I can't lift what he does. But then there's things that I do better than he can, just because of my size versus his. So it's really just the accountability of making sure, that you stay consistent, that you do this. I worked out consistently 5 to 6 days a week. And really going back to what in what I said in the beginning, and the only way to do that is to really work it in your routine, like brushing your teeth. You wake up, you go to the bathroom, you brush your teeth, you go work out. And then I think lastly, I would say that, this is, like I said, this is a process. It's part of a life cycle, and my body will always be a work in progress, whether I'm trying to bulk up muscle or I'm trying to lean out like I am right now for triathlons. It's become now part of my life and my lifestyle. And, I look back and I think this is something that I've always been like this. So when I see pictures of myself overweight, which Jen's going to show you, I'm going to be gasping, like, because this is how I've always seen myself in my mind. And then when I would see the pictures, it wouldn't jive. Well, it's finally jiving, and the happiness that it has brought me, and the congruency between my body and my mind is just, God, it's far greater than any medicine or drug or anything that you can take, of just feeling so good about yourself. Other important things that has come of this, my family has followed suit, and my daughter, I was telling Jen, we were talking about my daughter and I at dinner last week, how I was coming up on my fifth birthday. And it occurred to her that, because she doesn't remember this, but she thought about, like, if I hadn't have changed, she probably wouldn't be doing the athletic things that she's doing now, because she would have had a truly sedentary lifestyle like I did. And it is amazing I mean, when she said that to me, I realized that it was all worth it. Everything I've done was worth it just for that right there. The kids are all very active. I mean, I'm sure they would have gotten into sports, but I don't know if they would have pushed themselves like they do if they didn't see me pushing myself. I have found this interest in triathlons that, who knew? I mean, if you would have told me 5 years ago that I would be running, shit, I ran 8 miles this morning. I mean, what the hell? And it's not anything I would have ever known if I hadn't started doing this. In my health, I mean, I don't dread going to the doctor anymore, because I know that my lab results are going to be spot on. I'm not on any medicine. My anxiety, like I said, is completely gone. And because of just even my hormones being imbalanced from being, the right size, I handle situations and stressful situations so much better than I ever did. Like my stress levels, I think, are able to be monitored better or controlled better, because of this. I mean, it is amazing. I mean, I tell you, Jen, all the time, you saved my life, and you not only saved my life, but you saved my kids' lives. even my husband is doing, triathlons. I mean, biking to Key West, I would have never in a million years thought we would do something like that. And it's something we do together, and it's something that it's a lot of fun. Um, and just I will forever be grateful to you, because I mean, what you've taught me and now what you're teaching me with food, God, I hate the fact that the food is so important, but my God, it is. And more so than anything, going back to the kids, I grew up with a really crappy relationship with food, that the food was the enemy. And yeah, we have Oreos in this house, and so we have a very healthy relationship with food. And yes, you can have those things, but you need to balance it with what you do. um and no, nothing is, and I laugh when people ask me, they're like, well, what don't you eat? Well, I don't eat things I don't like, but there's really nothing that I can't eat. If that's, and people are blown away by that. They're like, oh, can you eat pineapple? Well, it upsets my stomach, but yeah, I could eat it if I wanted to. um which is what makes this really cool, because it's so easy to make it part of your lifestyle when you have everything accessible. You just need to learn how to manage it and what works for you, because what works for me might not work for, you just got to figure out what is, you know, what foods work for you, what exercise works for you. I mean, I love spin. I know Julie's on here, and she was also so important for the first, not just the first year, I mean, shit, for the last 5 years, but just in the beginning of, not only just, I found a sport that hooked me, which was spinning, but she made it fun and really included me, or made me feel like I was such a part of that class. Again, going back to the workout partner and the accountability, that you don't know how many times I went to class, like really not wanting to go, but I felt like I wanted to go and I needed to go because of you. And I will forever be grateful, because as Jen told me early on, no one ever, ever, ever regrets working out. And that is so true. So
Thank you.
that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much. We are getting some questions to come in, which is great. I want to definitely to answer those. But real quick, thank you. That was awesome. I really appreciate how there's words I kept writing down. Sustainable, gradual, no fad diets, planning ahead, accountability, consistency. Those were words that kept reoccurring. And I think it's important for all of us to hear those things, because it is not an overnight success, as you so told us. 5 years is, a drop in the bucket for your whole life of having a better lifestyle. And I want to just kind of touch on a couple of things that I think will help everybody on this chat right now, and maybe be listening to it later. Is, what would you say, besides the dress, right? That was kind of the initial, like, okay, I want to lose 5, 10, 15 pounds for this dress. Where was the moment in your mind, or what was it that made you think, like, I want to keep going? And I know you said waking up, helping yourself, feeling better, but what was it that, like, kind of helped you really turn that corner and made you say, oh, I am feeling better. This is worth it.
I can't think of, I think it was maybe around mid-February that I really started seeing how life was getting easier.
Okay.
Going through the grocery store. I mean, I send you that picture every single time I fly. I mean, I sit in that seat, and before, when I was 100 pounds overweight, I was always so mortified that I would have to ask for a seatbelt extender. So completely mortified. And I would stretch it as far as I could. And I mean, I barely would get it on there. And now, I always take a picture of the seatbelt and I pull it out to show, like, things like that. But I would say, like, like a month and a half into it was when I started noticing that, like, taking groceries in from the car, I wasn't breathing so heavily. I felt more nimble. And that's when it really just started feeling better. Like, it was just, once the wheel got going, then things started to fall into place, because also food was, I don't think you can work out and eat like crap and have the same result, because it just starts fueling itself. I don't know how else to say it.
No, it's great.
You
You cannot.
want to eat better because you're going to feel better.
Exactly. And you cannot out exercise a crappy diet.
No.
Every once in a while we, fall off and we have, a couple of weeks here and there that we're not eating our very best, but a continuously diet that is not healthy and not nutrition and is just full of processed foods or, meals to go, you can't out exercise that no matter how much we all wish we could. It's not possible. And one more thing before we answer the other questions is what would you say to someone that is not really, maybe they're just starting out with exercise, maybe they've never exercised. What would you say to them? Because they're looking at you right now and they're like, well, this chick does, half Ironmans, like she's a total badass. I'm never going to get there. What would you say to that person?
You will get there. You will get there. You just keep going, putting one foot in front of the other. I mean, it's like that saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. You go for the next pull-up. You go for, today you ran a mile. Next day, let's do 1.2 or 1.1. And if you just keep putting one foot, you just keep moving forward, you will eventually get there. I liken it a lot when I ride bikes and I go up a bridge, and this happens every single time I go up a really big bridge. And as I'm getting up to the bridge and I see the steepness, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, holy shit, that thing's going to be really steep, but then when you're in the middle of doing it, you're like, okay, all right, I'm doing it. All right, it's not so bad. And then you look up and you're like, okay, I'm halfway there. I'm halfway to the top. And when I attack these things, it's in my mind just a matter of doing fractions, because I look, okay, I'm halfway there. I'm on the other side of it. I'm almost there. And then before you know it, you're at the top. So just keep putting one foot in front of the other. On the days you don't want to work out, I can tell you in the beginning, it's very hard to work out when you don't want to. The more you do it though, the easier it becomes. This morning, I didn't feel like running 8 miles, not at all, not one bit of it. I mean, you know how much I hate running, but you draw on the other days of the past that you showed up, even though you didn't want to show up, and you're not going to let yourself down, because Lord knows you went through worse. So you can run. I mean, well, fine. Well, at that point I can run 90 minutes. I mean, I certainly have gone through worse. And so that's what I would say, but I mean, but whatever, even if it's 5 minutes longer on the machine, or a little bit harder in a class, or even a little bit heavier of a weight, if you just continue to push yourself and go one step further, you will get closer to your goal. It's when you stop. It doesn't matter. It's not the speed. It's when you stop that you stop getting closer to your goal.
Absolutely. So real quick, I'm just going to share some pictures that, or I thought I was going to hold, please. Because I think it's really important for people to see. Let's see now if I can share this. Hold on. Okay. Going back to you guys. Yes. And now going back to the share screen button. There we go. All right, I'm going to share this and hopefully all of you can see this now. So this was the dress, huh, Claudia?
Yeah, that was a dress. I still have it.
Dress.
That's the only, oh, that's another thing I would say. Throw your stuff out. When you get out of a size, throw it out. Do not allow yourself to go back there.
Okay.
There's no reason to keep anything for prosperity, other than obviously I kept that dress, but the dress I have now is actually made smaller for a wedding. So it's not the actual dress anymore.
So this was the dress that we initially talked about wanting to fit into. This was the initial character, so to speak. This is
oh my God, look at that.
A lot about you. This picture represents not just the fact that, we were, you're much heavier than you are now, but the fact that you were willing to try and believe in me. And the process that I was going to put you through, that really showed me that if you were willing to, you were trusting me, and that
was a leap of faith.
really needed to take care of you. So we were down some weight here. But honestly, we were still kind of hemming and hawing about the consistency of the workouts. Next we reached another 20-pound goal. But you said you were here before. This was a weight that you said, okay, I've seen this number. I know what this number looks like, but really you were basically taunting me and saying like, let's see if I can, keep this off. This was also the time where we were chatting about daily drinking, right? This was like deep into what did you call it? Vodka
Saturday. Well, every day was vodka Saturday.
Right. Okay.
I mean, there was no vodka Saturday because it wasn't a special event. It happened daily.
We got out of the 200s. This was a celebratory moment because we got down out of the 200s, and that you really had not seen this number in quite some years. Pre-pregnancy is what you told me.
Yep.
So, you're basically telling me that, this is like the best, but we were fixated. At this point, Claudia was fixated on numbers and not about really the overall feeling. We were getting there, but we were still really fixating on numbers. And I told her, and I'll never forget, I'm like, one day you're not even going to know how much you weigh.
And that is so true. I do
Was
not know. I
mind-blowing.
mean, I do now because we have a goal in mind, which is to lean out. But before that, I haven't weighed myself in forever.
Yeah. And I told her, I said, it's not about that number. It's about how you feel. It's about what you feel. It's about how your body's working. It's about how your mind is working. And she laughed in my face. She's like, yeah, right. But she was really, really not believing me at that point. And then we got down to a newer number, something that we didn't see before for her, but everything was changing. This was where we saw medication going away. This is where we saw stamina and endurance going up. This is where we really, I think for me, saw, I called her a sled dog. Sled dogs don't give up. No matter how cold they are or how uncomfortable they are or wherever, they're always working towards their goal, which is to get to their home or to the end of the race. And that was, where I saw Claudia being able to do this, that she really wanted to see this to come true for her. And also we saw there that, oh no, hold on, that we didn't have drinking in our lives anymore. And so that was, you're kidding me. Don't look at, I knew there'd be some sort of snafu. I didn't know what it would be. All right, so we knew that there was drinking going on, but then we got to this point where there wasn't daily drinking, and that was a huge turning point for her. And then we reached our goal, and that's her lifting 100-pound dumbbell. And so it took a year and a half to get here. And we knew that there was still things to work on, that it wasn't just always about the weight loss, but that it was about the mindset, that it was about the drive, it was about the consistency and the keep going. And even if you hit a plateau, that's okay. It's not going to be forever. And so that's where we landed with that. That was a really great day. And then this was this past January, or 2 Januaries ago now, where we saw the end really of the weight loss, and that we knew we wanted to maintain, that we wanted to get stronger, that we wanted to work towards triathlon goals, swimming farther distance, running at a faster speed, biking for longer. And it became about what her body could do and not what her body weighed. And so I really, really can't tell you guys how much it means to me that you guys are here listening to this, but that I hope that you see that this is something that every single person can do. And it doesn't need to be for 100 pounds. It can be for whatever health goal that you're looking to reach. You can do this. It is so possible. And I promise you, as Claudia said, if you just keep putting one foot in front of the other, figuratively and literally, you will reach goals that you want to reach, whatever it may be. And it doesn't have to be Claudia's goal. It can be whatever your personal goal is. Healthier eating habits, better sleep, a weight loss because you have sleep apnea, weight loss because you have arthritis, It doesn't have to be about looking a certain way. It's about feeling a certain way. So now I just want to go over to these chat questions. Oh yeah, Amanda says, love the joy on your faces. It's so true. You can tell a difference in who she is. Julie asks, can you talk a bit more about the connection between mental health and exercise that you feel?
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, if I don't exercise, okay, perfect example was over the summer. If I don't exercise, I will fall, like, mentally, I feel like I fall apart. So over the summer, we were on vacation, and although I was running and keeping active for sure, because again, it's part of the routine. So I wasn't doing it to the level that I normally do. And I think I cried for like a week before my serotonin levels were able to go back up to where they were before. I mean, I really need the dopamine that is released in exercise to feel my happiest. And even just, and even I said, even just anger management. I mean, everything. It makes everything just go smoother. I joke that sometimes I work out to beat myself into submission, so I'll have an easier day with everybody. But it really just does make all the difference, I think, and certainly a lot better than all the side effects I had with the Lexapro.
So that's so true. Like the stress relief that people get from exercise is research, it's study, it's concrete evidence. Everyone has, different levels of dopamine release. Sometimes it happens during the workout, sometimes it's a couple minutes after, sometimes it's hours after. But just so that everybody knows that you didn't just flip the switch and say, I'm going to get off Lexapro. You went through your
No,
and
I did the weaning
you went
process
through
and
the
all of
weaning
that.
process.
Yes.
And I want everyone else to know that and it's okay, I'm on Zoloft and I exercise regularly, and we all have our mental health that we need to take care of. So Claudia was able to, remove the medication, and she's doing well and is feeling mentally fit. I will probably always be a person that needs to be on medication, but I will also work out to help my mood. So, I'm so proud of Claudia that this has been able to fulfill her mentally, but that it can be that people will always be on medication, and that is okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. So thank you for that question, Julie. Does anyone have any other questions before we stop this recording? If you want to unmute yourselves, you can. If not, that's okay too.
Hi, Claudia. I love your story, and
Thank you.
just all the reminders. It's just so great to hear your personal journey in this. Did you use, when you started making diet changes, were you using smoothies, and we say kind of the adding in more fruits and vegetables and like getting the colors of the rainbow? I know you probably looked at your protein, but did you add any like smoothies, stews, soups? Like, did you have anything that you did consistently like that, or was it?
I did.
Just
I
talk a little
actually
more about that.
had, I did. I had protein shakes that I would put spinach and avocado and sweet potato. Like I would put every single vegetable you can imagine. Beets, not, yeah, beets and everything in there. But I started realizing it started upsetting my stomach for whatever reason. So I had to stop doing that. I don't know if it was just too fibrous. Because, oh, and another fun thing, during all of this, I developed diverticulitis. So there are times where I have to back off on the fiber. And I think that was just upsetting my stomach too much. But yeah, I mean, I use protein shakes. Even now, I'll drink 2 protein shakes a day. Because they're the best, like, I think, on the go of things that, and it's easy to swallow, it's easy to take down.
And we also
Yeah.
introduced definitely eating the rainbow. She actually got
Mhm.
kids involved in my eating the rainbow challenge that I did last year. And then we started incorporating Juice Plus into her every day. So for those, a lot of you guys on here know about Juice Plus, but it's fruits and veggies in a capsule, and it delivers a ton of nutrition. And we can get on that that could be forever. We could talk about that, but we started adding that. Definitely midway, if not a little bit before midway, when it came to making sure that she was getting all the nutrition that she needed to support her workout regimen. Claudia Rudkins asks, what's your next goal?
My next goal, okay, so I did the half Ironman in December. I think my next goal will be just to increase. Well, my next goal is to decrease the time for my half Ironman. I don't think I'm ready for an Ironman. I think it's going to be a long time, probably when my kids are in college, where I can dedicate the time both mentally and physically to that, because it is all consuming. So I think right now my goal will be just, we're trying to lean out. Jen and I are working on trying to lean out, and in hoping in leaning out to reduce my time for the half Ironman. I did it in 7:24, and I want to get my next one down to 7:15 and ultimately be under 7 hours. Is my goal.
Thank you. I appreciate all of you guys for being here. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to chat with us and to listen to us. And also, Claudia, real quick, tell everyone how old you are when you started this.
Well, I'm 43. I'm 48 now. So
all
43.
Right. So it's never too late, right, girl?
Never. Ever. This old dog has been learning a lot of new tricks.
That's right. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great Monday night and have a great Tuesday tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording.